What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this one we are going to be looking at the Flickering Flames event season 2. Cold snap is upon us. Tomorrow is the patch day. So first of all, we're going to be looking at the information that Embark has dropped into the Discord for Arc Raiders, where she clearly states on screen here that the frostbite and freezing winds are about to make topside survival even more intense as the cold snap update arrives tomorrow. Below ground, the Flickering Flames event is about to begin. Light, camaraderie, and the power of the versatile candleberry bush are essential as we brace for the cold. Some super interesting detail there, which we're going to get into in a little bit more detail shortly. But of course, the first thing to mention here is go and check out the Flickering Flames winter event video that's been dropped on the official Arc Raiders YouTube channel, because it gives us lots of teasers, some visuals, and really important information that's ready for tomorrow's update. But of course, without further ado, let's jump into the main chunk of the video, which is what Arc Raiders or Embark have dropped on the arcraiders.com official website. So we can start at the top here, and it's titled that Winter Hits the Rust Belt. So of course, this is a post that's been provided today on the official website, and it states the following: Raiders, winter hits the Rust Belt. Frigid winds carve through the valleys of the Blue Gate. Blizzards sweep across the abandoned spaceport, while the Red Lakes freeze and crack. Raiders topside battle on as they shiver and stumble and swear. Then we move into the first major section, which is the cold snap map condition. So on December the 16th, as the snow rolls in, so will new threats to consider. Your feet will be unsteady over frozen water, your vision will be compromised, and frostbite is a real danger. During the cold snap condition, the clock is ticking. The freezing weather will cut your raider down in minutes unless you get indoors or heal up quickly. Bear this in mind when engaging other raiders. Getting pinned down in the open is a death sentence during a Rust Belt winter. Now, what's interesting about these two paragraphs is a couple of things. Firstly, what I want to highlight here is your feet will be unsteady over frozen water. Now, there's a couple of areas that I can think of. So, of course, we already had Red Lakes being frozen and cracking in the original paragraph. But what I find super interesting here is that if our feet are going to be unsteady over that frozen water, does that mean that we're going to have some mobility issues? Maybe some enhanced sliding effects, as you would in real life over ice? That could be super, super interesting. Although, that being said, given the fact that their third statement here about frostbite being a real danger is also present, I'm not sure how much we will want to be in the Red Lakes area, as there is hardly any cover or indoor areas in that area of Dam Battleground. So I'm not sure that we would want to be there at all. But just super interesting to see what this actually means in game. Or it could mean nothing, right? But I'm certainly intrigued by that. Of course, your vision being compromised as well is something that I think the community have predicted. That, of course, with blizzards and harsh weather, your sight and your vision from a distance perspective is going to be hampered. Again, I think this encourages more tight-knit fighting on both Arc and from a PvP perspective as well. It means things like Ospreys and Renegades and fighting in the distance is not something that we're going to be able to do on this particular map condition. So I'd be super interested to see what tactics come out and what type of meta evolves on this particular map. Maybe there is no meta, right? And that's the point, is that it's open to interpretation on how you want to build your loadout and bring to this particular condition. So looking forward to it. Of course, the next paragraph talks about the clock ticking downwards. So I think here, ultimately, we can just assume that there is going to be some dependency on, if the longer that you are outside, the more damage or potentially the more risk there is of taking damage from the frostbite. So I think frostbite being a real danger, the fact the clock is ticking, freezing weather will cut the raider down in minutes unless you get indoors, all kind of points in the direction of we're going to take some damage if we're outside too long, effectively. So again, I think that will encourage some super tight-knit indoor gameplay from a PvE and PvP perspective. So looking forward to this condition. The next section of the website then talks about the Flickering Flames event. Now, I did speculate on one of my previous videos that I wasn't sure if this event was going to be more community focused or something else, because it never actually stated on the roadmap that it was a community event. It just stated the word event. So I'm glad now that we've got a bit more information here to define on what actually the event means and what it is. So we'll jump into below ground. The tenacity of the human spirit endures. Despite food scarcity and rolling blackouts, Survivors gather to light candles, swap war stories, and appreciate what little they have. The Festival of Flickering Flames is about to begin. It then goes on to talk about this new item that I think is going to be topside, which is the Candleberry Bush. It talks about how there's lots of different use cases for it within Speranza. And of course, then the fact that we do rely on other essential items too within Speranza for light and heat sources, which boost morale and help keep Speranzans comfortable while giving them the best chance to fight through to the spring. So we definitely have more idea now that the Candleberry Bush is going to be a key item, but we also have other essential items being key and highlighted in these paragraphs as well. And as we scroll further down, we see, of course, the official Flickering Flames event video that you can watch, which is embedded on the site, but also the fact that we're not going to be asked to help out for nothing. There are some rewards that we can gain from our contributions, which is interesting. So both the Candleberries and special items will be able to be redeemed for the following items: Raider tokens, new items, rare utility items, weapons, cosmetics, and merits. You'll also gain the merits for simply doing what raiders do best, which is braving any topside location and earning XP. Remember, more merits means more stuff. Are we speaking your language? So this is definitely very, very similar to the Stella Montis Breaking New Ground event. If you didn't participate in that, effectively, as you earn XP, so from a passive perspective, you also gain merits. Those merits then contribute towards more rewards. And interestingly enough, we've now got an added element where Candleberries, which I believe are going to be a lootable item, as well as special items, are now redeemable for the following things. So we're able to almost accelerate our merit gain while also obtaining some additional rewards that we weren't able to do with the Stella Montis event. So really looking forward to what Embark showcase here. The interesting point I want to note about this though is, if we are thinking about doing the expedition project, which no doubt a large portion of the player base is there an opportunity where you don't actually redeem the special items for any of these new items, rare utility items or weapons until the new raider arrives? Because if we're limited to only being able to purchase some of these once, twice, maybe there's, again, a 5 out of 5 limit on some of these things, maybe it would make more sense to actually hold fire. And we'll get to the reasons why in a moment. But I think that would be super interesting on the decision that we make on whether or not we're going, first of all, on the expedition project, but also whether or not we cash in on these Candleberries that we find immediately on our raider that we're going to be effectively disembarking, or do we just wait for our new raider to go and collect them and facilitate effectively a better start for them potentially? So yeah, some food for thought. We then go on to probably the best part of this announcement, in my opinion, which is the Raider deck. It's nicknamed the Goalie. It is going to be available from the 26th of December, so not immediately from tomorrow when the season begins, but actually 10 days later. And effectively, it is going to be a second completely free and permanent Raider deck. Now, what I find super interesting and exciting about this is that shows some real promise from my perspective for Embark, because I personally have invested in some of the microtransaction currency, partly because I was anticipating that I believed that the Raider deck this season would be purchasable and potentially they would do a free one alongside it. But the fact that there is no announcement of a purchasable one, and simply the second deck is just a completely free to all deck for cosmetics, for Raider tokens, I think that's absolutely massive for the game, because you don't need to purchase anything. You don't need to spend any money. The cosmetic tokens that you buy, or the Raider tokens you buy, are completely for the shop-based cosmetics, not just the Raider deck. And that's something that's, in my opinion, brand new from a AAA game perspective, because we take the likes of Call of Duty, we take the likes of Fortnite, even ARPG games like Diablo 4, for example, all introduce this concept of a battle pass that's always payable. You must pay real money in order to effectively obtain the maximum from that particular, say, set of cosmetics. So the fact that this is completely free is absolutely fantastic from Embark. So kudos to you where it's due. Fantastic announcement here. Then it goes on to talk about the flagship skin of the new Raider deck is an old world outfit that some Speranzans have claimed was worn by the world's most fierce and respected gladiators. Who knows though, really? But hey, it comes with a pretty cool new hockey stick Raider tool as well. So really interesting that we're going to get a new Raider tool cosmetic here. in the form of a hockey stick. I'm interested to see what type of sound effects that maybe come with that. If there's any changes to the original raid at all, that would be super interesting. But again, I think they're kind of following suit here a little bit with, of course, what Fortnite have done with pickaxes. Maybe some future Raider tool cosmetics can be unlocked in the future too. So really, really interesting stuff. And then, of course, this is the point I was making about the items to be redeemed, right? With this Raider or the next Raider, if you are doing the expedition. There's no time to lose because the Flickering Flames event will run from December 16th until January the 13th. So ultimately what this is saying is that past December 22nd, once we've achieved our expedition project, we've got our new Raider, we're able to then continuously, I imagine, unlock and contribute to the Flickering Flames event with the new Raider. Therefore, I personally feel like I would be holding fire on obtaining any of these particular areas, like the new items, utility items and weapons, because it would make more sense to let the new Raider benefit them rather than my current one. But again, I might be reading that wrong. I'm not too sure if there is anything to read between the lines there or not, but sound off in the comments below on what you think. What's your favourite element of this particular update that we've got so far? And sound off in the comments in general about what your thoughts are on the game, its current status, and just where we are. And of course, tomorrow, as soon as the patch releases, I'll be doing another video where we cover the patch notes in a bit more detail, hopefully have some gameplay footage as well to showcase to you if you haven't been able to jump onto the game as of yet. But thank you very much for supporting the channel and tuning into this video, guys. If you did like it, then please do me the favour and hit that like button. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you're looking for more future Ark Raiders updates and content. But thank you again for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.